Good afternoon, folks. Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre. And today I'm going to be talking about Shenanigans Youth Theater Group again. But this is the early days still, part two. Uh, I wanted to mention a little bit more about some of the performers and get some pictures if I could. I did find a newspaper article about the very first show. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time getting it to work on YouTube, so maybe get that out for you in a future episode. But that first show was pretty important. 67 performers, and it impressed a lot of people to help us get started in the youth, the youngsters that participated. They're the founders also. I can't remember everybody, but I know there was Sean Suter and his wife now Sandy, but in those days her name was Sandy Bristol. Michelle Thornton, my daughter, Tiffany Berg, Denise Phillips. Just to mention a few. If I forget people, I'm sorry about that. Next year will be 30 years since we did this show. And so those are just a few of the people that were in that first show. A lot of great different things went on. Brian Maloney was in that show, a great tap dancer and piano player. Ashley Welty, she was just a youngster at those times, and she stood on this wing singing Gizmos and Gadgets Aplenty and really stole the show. Uh, so in Brian Maloney, as you all know, went over to England and became a professional dancer, and now he's teaching over there. And now a lot of the other ones went on their ways too. Everybody that I mentioned went out and did something professionally. But that was the first show, and we went on. And the next show we did was How to Eat Like a Child. I spoke about that one. My last thing, this was my first shot at producing, and I do have a few pictures I'm going to show you so you can remember how some of the people were young back in those days. Maybe I'll find a picture of myself someday and show you without my gray hair. But anyway, we did so many shows with How to Eat Like a Child during the daytime and in the evening. I don't know how many we did because during the daytime, local schools were invited. They came, brought their classes in to attend, and then at nighttime it was the pay things. And we came out of that second show in a little bit of trouble financially because we did so many shows. The cost of the royalty rights was really expensive. In those days, we didn't have any money. So, as the producer and also as the treasurer of the company, I had to figure out some way to pay the royalty rights out so that we didn't get blacklisted or anything. So, I went out and we got a loan, and the board approved getting a loan from a person dear to my heart. That was Irene Parker. She gave us a loan to cover the cost of the royalty rights and at a very decent interest rate and payback rate. So that kept us going during our initial tough financial time. But there was a lot of other people involved in that show too. There was people that made the blocks. That was Dee Trad, and her name was Trad at the time, and her husband Joe, and they made all of those blocks that we had. And you know what? When I left in 2009, those blocks were still in use. So that was a pretty good investment. And they, Lee DePosh and Terry Creason and BJ and everybody that put that show together really did a great job. And when I look back now, I just amazed that we were able to get that much support in getting things done. So now, I'm going to show you some pictures. Before I do that, come on, go down there and hit that like button and let's push this out into your social media channel so that more people can see about this great organization, Shenanigans. And also I wanted to let you know that probably on Saturday I'm going to put out a special YouTube, and this is support of a important fundraiser that's going to be happening on November 1st in to help the 8th Street Community Center, which many of us spent many, many hours in there as a community center, as a theater. It's a theater now. I should have said theater, but I'll be doing that on Saturday. Okay, so let's take a look at some pics here and see what you can remember and enjoy your trip back in time. There's Tiffany, and she looks like she's freezing. I can't remember exactly what the heck the song was that she was singing, but You know, there was there, and there's a couple of the blocks there with all the different colors, and every one of them, and the kids had to learn how to move them around. And Chad Atkins did a great job as a stage manager in enabling and teaching the kids to help themselves on stage, let alone other people helping them. So there's Tiffany. I'm sure most people remember her from those days. She was also in our very first show, so she's one of our founding performers. And then here's a picture of Tiffany on the bottom, and then there's a some sort of a dance line going up there on top. I couldn't get it expanded too well, but I see off to the right side of the picture, just barely in the pictures, Tiffany Phillips. I talked about her in the first show, and I can't make out some of the other ones. You guys probably know these people better than me. Okay. Next, there's one I know. That's Michelle, my daughter. Yes, she was in the first show and How to Eat Like a Child. I think in How to Eat Like a Child was her first time she was ever asked by BJ to sing. She was pretty scared about that, but she made it through it. And I think she was doing BJ added to the show, you know, a routine for her and Courtney Bazay to tap dance to. And it was solo, but they took turns doing the number. Okay, then we move on. Then we got some. I found these in one of my scrapbooks. I don't have a lot of pictures, but I did find these. Somebody made a scrapbook for me, one scrapbook from 1991 to 2000. So some of these pictures are there. I can see Tiffany Phillips's hair in the background, but I don't recognize any of the young guys out front and what they were doing. And then down in the bottom, I remember this was like a classroom scene. They were doing something in the classroom and everything. I think one of the the greatest things that, or the coolest, funniest, the greatest, saddest, whatever you want to call it, happened during one of the shows at night. The way the scene was set, it was relatively dark in there, and one of the young performers in the school scene got sick. So instead of making a big fuss, he just leaned over to the right and he upchugged on the on the stage. And you know what? The audience did not even see it. That was great. You know, poor Chad had to clean that up in between scenes, but they got it done real quickly and the show moved on. But you know, I really give that whoever that child was that did that, I give them credit for not freaking out and disturbing the show. They just kept right on going. Okay, there's a, a picture of Tiffany and Dawn, and I really don't remember what they were doing. So anybody has any comments about these pictures and what they were doing, please make comments on the channel and let me know, and I'll get back with you again. And I'm going to be concluding in a few minutes, but I want to tell you that in a future episode, I ran across an article for a musical tribute we did to Hollywood called "Do You Remember?" This was about our third year when that happened, and I'm having a hard time trying to piece something of that together. So if you know anything about that show and what you did and who participated in it, leave it in the remarks. Help me put this timeline thing back together again so that we can all enjoy it and get as much credit as we can. So that's it for today's video. And please like it, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified of when I put out other stuff, then after you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and you'll get notified when one comes out. So until I see you again, folks, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and in these days of COVID, please stay safe.